Welcome back to the Brighter Side of Blue, our worldwide podcast, coming to you almost live from JJ's Basement Bar.
Yeah,
that's right.
On Halloween night. First we did the Eclipse show from my backyard. Now we're doing Halloween from JJ's Basement Bar. Thanks, JJ.
You're welcome.
I'm Danny.
I'm Tommy.
I'm JJ.
Brewster John.
I thought you left the building.
I was going to say JJ for some reason.
That would be weird.
Is this our 51st episode?
51st. One way from 1 year.
And I'll be out of town for that one.
What?
Oh, yeah, you will.
I'll be down in pickleballing it, hoping the hamstring holds up. Hey, this is our Trials and Tribulations show.
We're going to talk about some trials, and with all trials comes some tribulations.
Yeah, we got some serious updates. We're going to get to some Halloween history later in the show, but we're going to start off we have a breaking news to your favorite trial, though.
Damn right. We'll get to that in a little bit here.
Right.
But yeah, the one thing we really want to ask you guys to do, ask our listeners to do, is that like, share, and subscribe. That really does help us. Jack has been on us very hard to do that, and I think we get lax on that sometimes. And we really, when you get explained what it does, when you guys hit that like button, it puts us into a different algorithm within the YouTube and the Spotify feeds.
So if they hit like, subscribe, and share, we can get Jack off us.
Yep.
Speak for yourself.
But yes, and we appreciate it too.
Yeah. No, it helps. I mean, we didn't get to 18 million viewers by not having people hitting those buttons, right?
We like it.
Jack?
We want more.
Yeah.
We're getting close to Rogan, right?
Yeah, we are.
Maybe the next presidential election cycle, they'll be coming to us, right?
This is a nice little setup you have here, JJ.
Thanks, brother. It's a man cave, but Lisa spends way more time down here than me.
Is this where you kind of come to yourself and come up with the JJ's ends?
Yes, I do. I come here, I meditate, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
good.
I got a very appropriate one for this week too.
Very good.
I like it.
Your JJ's Zens are a big hit.
And I actually just found it like 10 minutes before Tommy showed up.
All right. Trick-or-treaters going to come through?
They will. We'll have, we're in the cul-de-sac, obviously, and we get a pretty good crowd. You see the house 2 doors down from me?
Oh, that's a lot of scary things in the yard.
Yes. We have people come by all week long for the last 3 weeks.
Just to look at that house. They got it. I mean, there's not a piece
it's
of
for
our listeners at home, his neighbor has at least 300 skeletons and scary ghouls and creatures in his front lawn.
Well, music playing.
It's for MS, and he actually gets every year Channel 5 or somebody interviews him, and there's a bucket there. So people come by, and you can actually walk through it.
And there's a bucket to donate for MS?
Yes.
I'm doing that before I leave.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should all do it. We get the camera out.
Yeah, we should. Jack, can you follow us and get that on film?
That's what he wants to do.
We're here to help. Jack's got a parka on over there. JJ, can we get the heat going?
You can close that window if it's open, bub.
Freaking parka. He's got those earmuffs.
That's
those
because he's too skinny.
Earmuffs on.
He's too skinny.
Yeah.
Put on some weight.
Eat some, kid. Tommy, Trials and Tribulations.
What do we want to start with? Which one do you want to start with?
Well, I think we go with the breaking news because I'm sure you were heartbroken to hear that there was
YSL Thug. He pled guilty.
Yeah, because that's
I don't know.
That ends
I thought the trial was going in their favor. Obviously,
I agree. He should have drug it out.
But they were looking at life. Anytime you're looking at life and you're leaving it up to 12 people,
nothing to gamble
about.
And
as we'll talk about in some of these other trials, is that emotions run high in these things. But this one was the longest trial ever in Georgia, and was just filled with tomfoolery, shenanigans. Go ahead.
No, has any sentencing been done yet?
I didn't read that.
I don't think.
Well, no,
they usually
not
wait.
sentencing when you're going to plead to something.
Right.
There was a couple guys so there was 6 guys left, and then there was some other tomfoolery that happened. And then when that happened, they took a break. And what the judge offered was a mistrial without prejudice, which means that you can call the trial off, but the state has the opportunity to retry you.
right.
And they're already, well into, close to a year into this thing, longest trial ever. So money's been, spent unbelievably, and a lot of these defense attorneys they've given up their complete practices just to go defend these guys because it lasted so long. So I would imagine those negotiations for that, because they've been in negotiations for like the last week. since that judge offered them that, offered one of the attorneys that. Then the attorney looked at the client when she says, "I'll give you. Or would you like a mistrial without prejudice?" And she looked at the client right there on the thing. She said, and it wasn't one of them, the main clients.
Yeah.
And she just looked up and said, "Yep, we'll take it." And then everybody was like, and then she looked at all the rest of them and said, "Do you guys want it?" And then they kind of paused. And
All
then,
the defendants. You keep calling them clients.
Well, the lawyers and their clients.
Right.
I guess that's what I meant. But the defendants, and they all kind of looked at each other, so they were dumbfounded whether they wanted that or not. So then they went into, at least it's been a week now, and then two dropped, and then just right now, before we got on, we got several texts saying that young thug just pled. So I think that's the end of it. I don't know.
That just happened. We
All
just
right.
yeah.
And I don't know if they all six pled, but I'm guessing they did if he pled.
Yeah. The main dog did.
But a couple of them, I think, pled to 7 years, but they get time served, and they've already been in for 4. That's how long this trial's been going on.
Oh, my God.
So if these guys all get 7 years, they do another, you say 3 years, but I'm sure if you act right, you probably get out in about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, Tommy, do you think they have to worry about what jail they go to with amongst each other? Is there any really
I
bad,
don't know if
bad blood?
there was one young kid that was involved in that thing that he should have never been involved in it. He was not even associated with them, but he killed a guy. But he claimed he was a YSL member, but he was just somebody that liked him.
Right.
He never talked to him or anything, so they threw his ass in there. And he's been acting a little funky along the way every once in a while. So he might have. But I think now that they just want to get out of this whole thing.
Oh, yeah. It
I
has
think
to end.
Everybody involved is
Just end
this. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's move on with our lives. But
That's
yeah, and that thing was going to last at least another 7-8 months.
I'm glad it's over. So,
I don't know. That's kind of what went on.
It was a circus.
It was a circus.
It's kind of like when The Sopranos was over, people were sad. Tom's like really sad that this trial's over.
I'm going to have to file another trial, but we got some other good ones here.
Well, I was thinking there's nobody that hates a bully more than JJ.
Yep. We've said
And
that
he's
on
got
several
a
shows.
story. What town is this in?
Oh, Skidmore, Missouri, 1991.
Skidmore, Missouri.
1991.
Okay.
It was a movie in broad daylight. And I've watched the movie years ago. And actually, Tommy's the one that we did the research and found it. And I'm like, I know that story. So this guy, his name is Ken McElroy. And he was in Brian Dennehy, the actor.
Oh, yeah.
He played him in the.
He was in Rambo, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yes. He was a sheriff in Rambo.
Yeah.
He was he played the guy named Kenneth McElroy. And he was, this guy was just terrorizing this small town. And one day, I guess they had enough of him. And he was in his truck, and Tommy can get into some more detail too, but he was in his truck with his wife, who was pretty much underage.
At one time, she was.
One time.
We were all at one time.
Yeah, at one time I was too.
I was underage at
Well,
one time,
not at
too.
the time of the shooting is what I meant.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he ended up getting shot in cold blood. He got shot and killed in broad daylight in front of probably 30 people, and not one of them came forward. And
Wow.
And no one, it's still to this day unsolved.
Unsolved.
But this guy, he was arrested for assault, child molestation, statutory rape, arson. This guy was just a terror. And if you guys ever watched I don't know if you ever seen the show called Justified about a small town in Kentucky. It's actually really cool. And this reminds me of this. This is just some hillbilly.
So-
this guy was just hardcore. It's crazy shit.
Just nuts. How it started was
Wait a minute.
this
he
particular
was also
incident.
arrested for cattle rustling.
cattle rustling.
Cattle rustling.
That's why they killed him.
Wrestling. That's probably why.
Yeah, yes.
That finally the cattle rustling that broke the straw. But anyway,
Any animal cruelty is
so how it ended was this McElroy fella. He got convicted. His daughter was shopping at a supermarket earlier, and the owner accused her of stealing. Obviously, she was stealing. So then she went back and told her dad that this I think his name was Bo Camper. They called him Bo, but he owned the town supermarket. And this place, so Skidmore is in the corner up by Nebraska and Iowa.
By St. Joe?
I don't know
I
where
think
St.
so.
Joe's at.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So would that be in the area?
Yeah.
It's up there in the corner. It has like 250 people in it.
Yep.
And so everybody knows the town's grocer, right? Well, everybody knew that this guy was an asshole, but so now the daughter goes back and tells the dad. Dad comes up there, and
The daughter went and told Dad that the grocer accused her of stealing.
correct. So then this McElroy goes back and he attempts to kill. He shoots the supermarket guy, Bo. So he goes to jail, and then he gets out on an appeal. He has a successful appeal, and he gets out. Well, he goes back and starts harassing Bo, and he goes to this D&J's Tavern or D&G Tavern, and he goes in with an old military rifle with a bayonet on it, and he sits in his bar, and it gets back to the sheriff that he's there, and the sheriff's around a bunch of other town members that they're trying to figure out what to do with this prick because he had got his appeal and he was running around doing his silly shit again.
Right.
So they're all standing around. Well, it was the sheriff's decision not to go in the bar because they didn't want to agitate him, to just kind of let him be there. But the sheriff, for some reason, gets called to another town to do something. Well, the townspeople said, well, fuck that. And they gathered all the men in the town, and they went and sat in the bar. And they ran him out of the bar. Well, the next day, this what's his name? Kemper? McElroy comes back on Main Street during the day, parks on Main Street with his wife. And when he pulled up, somebody came up to him and shot him a bunch of times, killed him. Nobody knows who that person was. But what I found also is this sick bastard McElroy, that they said it was his wife in the car with him. Well, it was his wife because he married her at the age of 15. But they lived with his ex-wife because he got accused of child molestation on the 15-year-old that he's now married to. So what he did was divorced his wife, married the victim, so they couldn't prosecute him for the case. That's how big of a prick this guy was. And then he threatened her family to keep quiet. This guy's neat now. You can see why a lot of people look the other way.
He just kept getting, he was just like, every time he did something wrong, people were scared. He kept getting out of these charges. Every time he got charged with something, he kept beating it. So he was big and large, and he thought he could do anything he wanted. And I think in the movie, I remember there was a state patrolman, Missouri State Highway Patrolman, who was the only one that wasn't afraid of him. And it doesn't really say anything about him. I mean, it might have been the fiction part of the movie, but I'd love to know if there was actually a state trooper that actually stood up to him, because I believe he did. And but then he didn't have to do anything because the town took care of it. So
wow.
Sometimes, then we'll talk a little bit about the Menendez brothers later, but sometimes you meet the end, and or you get pushed to a certain point. Well, we talked about the judge and the sheriff
down in Kentucky.
You don't know exactly what the facts are, but it's leaning towards that. It was a breaking point issue.
A breaking point issue.
So
I get it.
No, definitely.
That's an official diagnosis. So not one person came forward as a witness.
Apparently there was what they say, Jay,
I think
37 witnesses.
Yeah, over 30. Yeah,
over 30 witnesses, and I didn't see nothing.
Yeah, you can. I don't know how that movie. If you can find that movie, but
it's called In Broad Daylight. There,
it's out there. Yeah.
Brian Dennehy's a good actor in that shit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a
good sheriff. He makes a great sheriff.
He makes a good asshole too.
Oh yeah, he was good. Tommy, I can't wait for the story. You know how? Well, I'm gonna leave it alone. But
you talk about the suitcase?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about you get bags fly free on Southwest. So what the hell you got with a suitcase?
Sarah Boone. She's out in Florida. She's 47 years old. Sarah just last week got convicted of murder. And again, all these stories, even some of them are funny, but there's death involved. We get that. We don't want to offend anybody. But if we can have a show that would, by Bob Stanzi and still laugh during the show, would take a grain of salt with what we say and how we laugh at shit.
That's fair.
Some shit's funny.
Very fair.
Because some shit's just funny. And this is funny. So Sarah and her boyfriend, I won't, because her boyfriend is no longer with us, so I'll just call her boyfriend. He's 42. So they decide that they are going to play a little hide and seek at the age of 42 and 47. And so...
Wait a minute, you don't play like Catch Me in the House when the kids are gone? Like, catch me.
No.
Not lately. But anyway, Sarah and her boyfriend decide that they're going to play a drunken hide and seek. So Sarah goes and hides, and she hides up in the shower. But her boyfriend.
So many comments I could say right there. It's so foreign for her to be in the shower, so she stinks.
So anyway, she's up there in the shower and she can't be found apparently. So she decides that.
But this is weird though. But who's looking for who?
They're
That's
both
where
hidden. This game lasted forever.
Yeah, they're both hiding.
This might be Hyde. I don't know. But
They had to be high too.
He died of old age.
so so she decides, well, he's not finding her, or the game's over or whatever. So she walks downstairs thinking, it's over. Well, as she walks downstairs, she sees her boyfriend in a suitcase that's laying on the ground, and he's all curled.
Well, she hears him. She can't see him. It's a
She
suitcase.
sees him moving. She knows she sees him, but he's all laying flat, and he's trying to get himself into this into this suitcase. Well, he's in there. He's got himself all nice and curled up, but it's not zipped because he was just going to hide. Well, she decides to take care of that for him, so she zips his ass into the suitcase. Now he can't talk. He's just sitting there. Now they're laughing about it at the beginning, but then she decides that it's time to have a relationship talk.
Conversation.
Talk about how the
I have
relationship.
claustrophobia. This is driving me crazy.
Well, she had him where she wanted him.
Exactly.
Right. So she decides to start talking about, things he's done wrong and blah, blah, blah. Well, this is what she testified.
The first thing you did wrong was get that fucking suitcase.
Yeah.
So she's got him zipped up. She's talking relationship things. And then she says, she testified to this. This is not
allegedly. This
She
is the deal.
testified on her own
Well, it is
behalf.
allegedly because she testified.
Yeah.
So this is on her own behalf.
Here's the actual suitcase from the courtroom.
Holy cow. It's true.
Wow.
And is that her?
So
Yeah.
So she's got him zipped up in there. They're having this talk, and then she says that his tone changed.
He's sweating his ass off.
He can't breathe. He's sweating his ass off. He's slightly
His
uncomfortable.
tone has changed at this point. So now he's getting a little frustrated about this thing. And she says now that she gets scared because she has been beaten before. Okay, so
there
if that
you
had
go.
occurred, we're sorry
All right.
about that.
All right, yeah.
But
tides
she has now
change.
gone into a different mode of I can't let him out because of the tone. So this is all over tone. I don't know what the correct tone is when you're zipped up in a suitcase.
Yeah.
I don't,
Great
not
question.
exactly sure, but so he's all zipped up in there. Well, he gets a handout. He somehow gets a handout. But she sees it. She grabs a baseball bat and beats the piss out of his hand. and he's got to take his hand, put that back in. She zips that back
What was
up.
that hand in the show, the Munsters?
No, it was an Adams Family.
Adam's Family.
It was in there. It came out and she passes it.
That's where she went
Pulls it
wrong.
back in there.
Or is
That's
it
where
thing?
she screwed up.
And then
Thing.
And then so she decides that that he'll probably get himself out eventually. So she goes up and goes to sleep and says, screw it. So she leaves him zipped up in there with a broken hand. I would imagine his hand's broken.
She couldn't
And
get
in
him.
there, and then he dies.
Wow.
So she was offered 10 years. Decided to take it to prison. I think she got life.
Take it to trial, you mean?
Take it to trial, I'm sorry. She's taking herself to prison.
She's taking her ass to prison. And she should.
Absolutely. And
She couldn't have just gave him a little bit of air to open that thing up.
hide and seek. It's a brutal game.
This is why you should always only have carry-on size bags because you can't get stuffed in there by.
Just think of if he got hooked up in a pelican case.
Oh my God!
Throw them around.
Can
kick
you
it down
believe that
steps.
story?
He had.
That's
he was
amazing.
telling my neighbor Jeff the story, and he had him crying, laughing.
That was a good one.
I don't even know what to think about that. So she did get life in jail.
What's that mean?
A lot more than 10.
Is it?
Yeah.
She was offered 10 because they were sympathetic to, I guess.
What is life? I thought life
The
was like
American
Life is
tourist
40,
or
isn't it?
Was
murder.
it 15? Huh?
What is life?
I don't know.
Are you getting
Well,
zenny on me? What is life?
What is life?
What is,
No.
Philosophers have been asking that question for thousands of years.
Yes.
Tom,
What is
Nobody's
life?
figured it out yet.
Especially Sarah.
Where's Huggy? He needs to look that up.
What were you saying,
life
Producer
mean?
John?
well,
It's upstairs running around.
life is 30 in Missouri now. We found
Is
that
it?
out
Yeah,
with the Paige
yeah.
Oh,
Spears
okay.
stuff.
Oh, that's right. Damn.
Boy, that was a great story, Producer John. Good job, Paige Spear. I hope the governor's considering cutting him loose. He's done what he had to do.
Holden Kerwicki did a really good
Channel 5?
Channel 5 story on it. It was
He did a great
It was
story
on
on it.
Tuesday, so if anybody wants to look it up, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. You can still, and it's still on the Channel 5 app and website if you want to look at it.
And so what happens? Governor Parsons, before he leaves, he has a list of people he could possibly pardon?
Yeah, there's still a list of people who have asked for had their sentence commuted on his desk. So hopefully, with the help of the publicity from our show and from Channel 5, and Bill McClellan's written a bunch of articles on it, is hopefully somebody can get to the governor. And
So we have no idea of what he's thinking. That
Just so everybody knows, this is about Paige Spears. We did a show on him a couple shows ago. Been in jail for quite some time. Laws have been changed. Circumstances have been changed. We're just trying to help him get out. And then, Johnny, you did a great job on Channel 5, brother.
Oh, yeah, you did good.
yeah, I just woke up and so I didn't have time to get nervous.
There's a Parsons possibly pardon Page. That's the four P's.
Parson.
Please.
That's the 4 P's. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, throw please on the end of it. And
Yeah,
then-
please, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that happens for him.
How about the Menendez brothers, though?
The shit's happening there.
I'm
What
kind
do you
of.
got on that, JJ?
I just think I don't know, but I'm not sure how I feel about it really. I mean, I don't know what to believe.
They did some brutal shit.
Is that? I mean, I guess they did, but why did they kill them? I still don't understand why they had to kill the mom.
Right. That's the one that gets me, too.
Right. I mean, and these kids, I don't know.
They went out. They went back out and got shotguns and came back in.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe because they were so mad at their mom because she knew what was going on and didn't do anything. I guess that'd piss you off too.
The emotional rage that these people suffer. I mean, we did a story on Emery Fudo.
Yeah.
So kind of a similar situation. And
If you believe that they were in that state of mind. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying they weren't.
Let me ask you
but I'm
this
just
though.
saying
You
there's
guys
a
remember
question.
that goes way back. But I remember when this first came out, and didn't just the look of those brothers? Didn't they look like? Just my opinion, they just looked like they were little spoiled assholes.
entitled kids.
Yes, that's
Yes.
what I felt. And I think that didn't help them.
It didn't help them.
Definitely didn't help him. But is that a disguise for the father to do what he did?
No, yeah.
That they were that well taken care of that hey, they don't need to be bitching.
I mean,
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Is that because if that was if those Menendez brothers grew up in a different area and a different thing, I think people would have felt more sorry for him
right.
rather than coming from a
Probably a
mansion.
good point.
You know what I mean?
But if
So where's it sit right now? What are they
I think it's going in next week. I think right.
And they get resentenced.
resentenced?
Yeah.
And then I think,
Time served or
Yep,
whatever.
they
or-
get
and
time
I
served.
heard that
Good.
Newsom can, if he wishes, he had to wait 10 days from the decision. So on like November the 7th, if he wants to pardon him or release him, give him clemency, he can. But they had to wait 10 days.
I would say he'll definitely do it. I'm not a big Newsom fan, but
Well,
No.
we didn't think you were. I don't know that needed to be said.
yeah, I wouldn't even say
However, thank you for letting us know, though.
Newscom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no, we're not political.
Keep on
We're
rolling.
not
We're
political.
not political.
But you know what? I hope he does. I think they should probably. I mean, I guess they should get out.
But our guy, getting back to our guy, Paige, if you send somebody to prison to be rehabilitated, how could you get more rehabilitated?
He's
Then Page.
he's teaching the classes.
He's
now.
teaching the
Right.
classes now, literally.
He's been
Right.
since 1988 on a robbery where nobody was hurt, nobody was shot, injured, anything. But the laws were a little bit different back then.
Little
and
bit.
And the sentencing, and then with the parole, rules, he's just caught in this island where he's stuck, and he just needs to get out. The guy's 63 now. His mom's still alive. She's 88. I don't think he's going to commit.
I mean, there's
more
kids that do
robberies.
the same thing. They're out in 6 years.
oh, yeah.
I mean, it's,
Well, like he said, he's watched murderers come and go.
right.
Yeah.
And it's I didn't get
That's
the clerical error. They said something about a clerical error in the thing, but to me it's more about that the laws were so. Anytime you change laws and make other laws not exist anymore, it's because they were fucked up. It's not because they were good laws.
Right.
So he was sentenced under laws that they realized, under sentencing laws that they realized may be a little out of control.
Right.
So they changed them, but they didn't change them retroactive. And all we're saying is that, hey, the laws have been changed for a reason, but yet he's probably the only guy that it affects right now.
So this came to me right now, but the cannabis has passed in Missouri, and they were going retroactive for people that were locked up for possession of marijuana or this and that, but they won't do it for for Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should have been retroactive.
And we don't know, but in our research, he might be the only person in the state who's sitting in this position right now. There could be others in other parts of the state, but as far as we know, there's nobody else who's, if he doesn't get clemency or commutation, he's not actually eligible for parole till 29. So that's 5 more years. He'll be. He said if he has to do the whole, till 29, by the time they get the paperwork done and everything, he'll be 70 years old when he gets out.
Yeah,
and that's too.
I got a question for all of you. What should the punishment be for someone does an armed robbery right now, tomorrow? I mean, I think if you get convicted of an armed robbery and you're good for it, I think they should stick you in the,
I would say at least 15.
At least that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
15 years hard.
15, 20 years.
And then that's it. And now at least 15 years do armed robbery or 20 years. No one's that could just stop, or not stop, but it would slow people down thinking twice about getting caught for. Now they're not scared about doing anything
Well, when
anymore.
you get probation,
Right.
probation's not all that scary.
But they need to get their act together and get solid laws for people who do real crimes and
Legitimate.
stay.
Yeah, exactly. And then if somebody's rehabbed, let them out.
15 years, I think you can rehab them in 15 years.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Especially if they get with Paige. Paige will get it done.
Paige will teach them. And,
Paige got it done. He said he gets proud. In his little interview that he gave to Channel 5, he said he's very proud of some of the people that come in with the anger that he came in with. And he gets to talk to them, and then they, when they get past all that, and he can see them improve, that makes him feel good.
yeah.
And I can see where that would be. That would be a very.
Have you talked to him since the interview, John?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's very, very happy with it. And I also talked to Steve, his stepbrother, and the whole family is very appreciative. But Paige called me after Holden left, and he was really excited about it. So
Wow.
And he'll call me tomorrow. He calls me every Friday.
Oh, does he really?
Is that his phone time?
Yeah. Well, he's got a job in there, but he gets a break in the afternoon, so he calls me.
It's neat. And I know Steve James sent you a nice little letter or a nice little text. And
Yeah, you
said that. Then that was pretty cool, and you sent it to us, and that was neat.
So I look forward to having Paige on the show once he gets
Wow,
pardoned by the
that'd be
governor.
wow.
Yep, and we got one last Trials and Tribulations. It's here in local Missouri, and then
Quazi.
Quazi.
It's a quasi one.
Quazi Mahasan was the man's name.
Got you.
And Quazi is the brother of Harold Richardson. And Harold Richardson is the guy that shot Bob Stanzi. And
He was tried under the name Eddie Belk, though, right?
Right. Yes.
and then he also went by Khalid Mahasan,
Okay.
therefore the brother of Quazi.
Okay.
But Quazi, obviously coming from that family, they had the same tendencies. They did kind of the same thing. So Quazi was in 2000, April of 2000, I believe. Just a normal traffic stop in U City. The Mahasan family had a lot of ties in U City. So I think it was Officer Hutley tries to pull over a van, and half a kilo of heroin and a gun. Somebody runs, half a kilo and a gun are found. They get the guy that runs. Mahasan's driving the van. He gets away. But DEA or one of the Fed units get involved and interview the guy that ran that they caught. And he said all that was Quazi Mahasan's. And the investigation, so it was like 2 years later, like in 2022, April of 2022, after the guy that ran, he went to and testified in front of the grand jury, and they indict Quazi Mahasan for the dope and the gun. So when he gets to jail later in 2002, he hires or gets another guy, and his name is Rose. His name was Maurice Rose. So he gets a hold of Maurice Rose, and he needs this witness killed. He needs him killed now, because he's got some issues.
Yeah.
Looking at half a kilo of heroin and a gun, and I think he had a past too, so he's looking at some time. So Maurice Rose goes over and tries to kill the witness, shoots him, gets close to killing him. They call 911. And then Detective Daniel Brady from U City starts getting involved in the attempt murder investigation. because it's not a murder, so they can't get the major case squad involved. The guy survived, and he does all his witness canvassing and puts together a really good case against Quazi, who's in jail. They got jailhouse tapes involved. They've got it's a neat case. I mean, you can tell and I got all this information from online. I didn't talk to anybody because so if I get anything wrong out there, or if Quazi's listening in jail somehow, I'm not, this is what I remember.
He's only half listening.
Quasi listening. Yeah, and he's suing the piss out of everybody. I noticed that.
Who is?
Quazi.
He's
still
everybody?
suing people for all kinds of shit. He's appealing shit.
He's going to sue us now for talking about it.
Yeah.
They'll probably sue us, but that's okay. But the detective Brady does a great job, and now they supersede the charges, and now he's charged with attempted murder of a federal witness.
Wow.
So now it's getting serious. He went from dope and gun, probably get 10, 15 years. Now he's added an attempted murder to the case. So it goes to trial. And in 2004, and Tom Meehan is the U.S. attorney, a great U.S. attorney. And hopefully we'll get him on the show one time. But I told him we're just going to tell this story. He's got plenty of other stories to tell, but we'll tell this story because it gets wild. It does get wild here. So they present this case, and you can tell it's just one of them cases that's very complicated, just putting all the pieces together, just like I told you. And then one of the witnesses that they had like a Woody situation, where one of the witnesses that said he'd testify, he's like, I ain't gonna testify. I'm gonna plead the fifth. So he went out and pleaded the fifth. So so they had to grant him immunity. So then he testifies, and that was one of the appeals, and so it just goes on. So, and it comes down to the day that he's sentenced, or that the jury's coming out. Jury comes out, and he's found guilty, and the judge sentences him there on the spot. He sentences him to 612 months. So that's the greatest thing about the federal system.
Oh, yeah.
They sentence you to months. So when you get sentenced to 612 months, what are you looking at?
60 years?
51.
51.
51 years.
But no matter who you are, you got to do math, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you're
yeah.
sitting
I'm
there
not
going,
down
oh,
with
I knew
shit.
the answer.
Oh, shit.
How'd you do that?
I knew the answer. I
Oh,
prepped.
you're such a jerk. I
So,
put myself
I was going to
out
act like I was smart, but
I know. I put myself out there with a guess.
That's good guess. So.
He one-upped me.
I should have shut
So
up.
he gets he gets to 612 months, and I don't know exactly how the attack happened, but here's so I got to figure that he's just sitting there trying to do math in his head, and he realizes he just got a shitload of time. He's trying. I can't even figure this shit out. I know I'm going for a long period of time.
That just sounds like forever.
Well,
Sounds like a lot, Your Honor.
So he decides it'd be in his best interest to attack Tom Meehan. So he jumps over the table and attacks him in court. The bustle's on, the hustle, and the marshals come in, they get him, and they take his ass out. Well, he gets that 612 months. Well, now he's got to go to prison. Now he's got to go to trial
For attacking the U.S.
for attacking the U.S. attorney. And this is where it gets somewhat entertaining.
This is the funny part.
This is where it gets somewhat entertaining. Because that's kind of all that's, great police work,
Yeah.
great prosecution. Now it's more time for the comedy of the whole thing. Well, so in that trial, he is represented originally by Steve Stanger. Many might know the name.
Oh, yeah, the old...
county council or
County
county
executive.
county executive.
yeah.
And but Quazi says that he fired him.
I'm fired up.
I'm firing this mother. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm firing him. So he fires him, and Judge Shaw was the judge. And Judge Shaw says, well, you can fire him, and you can represent yourself, but Mr. Stanger's going to stay on and advise you because you don't know shit about the law.
Right.
I don't know if he said it like that, but you know shit
Official
about
judge terminology.
Right. You know shit about the law. So they leave Stanger on. Well, anyway, when the trial starts, and it comes time for Quazi to, and by the way, anytime Quazi came in the room, he was cuffed up. I mean, he had his hands were.
Was he in orange jumpsuit too?
I don't know. And then they had him at the ankles too. So, them ankle shackles, them shackles.
Well, he's already attacked one prosecutor.
Right. They ain't easy to walk in. So,
Right.
but he would get up when he would question people, right? And he gets up and he starts the first person he starts to question, and he asks a question, and the prosecution objection, Your Honor, and for whatever reason the objection was sustained. Well, what that mean? He says, you got to ask a question a different way. They asked a question. Objection, Your Honor. Sustained. He said, I don't know if the camera's going to get me, but he'd shuttle around.
Scuffling up in the
And then he would kind of shuttle back to the table. And every time he would start shuttling back to the table when he would get a sustained. And this went on like 10 times, objection, Your Honor, sustained. Objection, Your Honor, sustained. Quazi's just shuffling around. He can't. He's flustered. And then one time he asked then he asked a question, and then they objection, Your Honor, overruled. He's stumbling, and they're like, Mr. Mahassan, it was overruled. You can continue. Well, God damn, he goes, there's been so many sustains, I don't know what to do with it, overruled. So then Quazi lost that trial too, and he got an additional 5 years.
For attacking me.
And they were to run concurrent, so he got 56 years. But as I was doing the research, he's in there suing the shit out of people for, I don't know.
What else he got to do?
appealing,
He didn't have nothing to
suing.
do, so that's why he took the other one to trial. So.
Right. And I think he caught another case of they were trying to smuggle some dope into the prison, so he caught another case.
What else he got to do?
I mean, He's just out there fucking up, man.
At this point, he doesn't care.
He's steady fucking up.
Yeah, he doesn't care. At this
That's
point.
funny shit.
Nope.
Trials and tribulations.
Nope, just a couple. No, I got the one. This is on. I like to demean myself every once in a while. But, so I was the YSL trial, as you know, has been they tried to request multiple mistrials, and I was sitting there going, "This is some bullshit that they're not mistrials because I caused a mistrial." And I didn't think I was near as bad as what they were doing. Yeah. Well, in my case, I was it was a case with Tony Decker in the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I was in the Most Violent Offenders Unit. And we got a guy with gun and dope. It was a really good case. It was rock solid. Case is going great. I'm testifying. Tony's asking me questions. We're killing it. This is a ground ball. Fuck it. So the defense attorney said, I've got nothing. I'm confident as could be. Defense attorney's trying to get me for shit. Bob. It's going great. And then they're like, then we get to the part where he's in my car. We lock him up. He's in my car, and we're driving to the headquarters. And they said, well, what did you talk about? And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I said, well, we were talking about the time I locked him up for murder. Well, he didn't get convicted of that murder. he didn't get convicted of said murder. And so, yeah, it was one of those things where as the words came out of my mouth, I just wanted to grab them and put them back in. I was like, fuck.
And so right there and then?
Judge Autry.
Yeah.
Dude, the whole...
I just
the
tainted the
eyes
whole.
on everybody as you're looking out there. You just know. And then it was Judge Autry, and they immediately mistrial.
So I guess if the judge was to scratch that last testimony.
Well, the good thing was I think it was the first day of the trial, so it didn't cost that much money, and then it was mistrial without prejudice, so we got to retry it again.
And then you shut up about that.
And I did not the second time I did not go into the fact that we
The
talked about
second time he brought Steve Stenger with him.
Quazi get me. No, but I always said that everybody has a "did you hear what Sawyer did" moment.
Yeah, that was
Tony
one of
Decker.
them.
Tony Decker had a. Did you guys hear what Sawyer did?
Oh my God!
But God love her. And then I felt so bad, and it's one of those things where you get hot, you fucked up, so you just kind of hot.
You knew you messed up.
And we're walking out, and I just looked at Tony. I said, "I'm so fucking sorry." And she couldn't have been nicer and sweeter. She knew how bad I felt.
It wasn't intentional.
I've been there.
She
Tom.
put a lot
Don't
of
worry
work.
about it.
She put a lot of.
That's
Those
brutal.
attorneys put a lot of work into trial preparation.
That's
And then when you
brutal.
fuck them like that,
Well, you know what? That's a great learning moment, though.
Yeah.
Oh no, I never. Yeah.
Yeah.
To all you young coppers listening,
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't do as Tom did.
Don't talk about crimes they have not.
You know
been
what though?
convicted
The more you testify, the better you get too.
Right.
I mean,
no, I was pretty. seasoned at
there's
the
a
time.
learning curve there.
We're trying to help you out with an excuse.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That
No, I
was
was
bad.
seasoned. Yeah.
That was bad.
John, what's happening down at Schicker Ford of St. Louis?
There's all kinds of stuff going on, but there's a end of the year SUV
Sale.
sale-a-thon. Yeah, big discounts on Ford SUVs down on South Broadway, and the canned food drive is
For the rest of the year?
November and December, and also you can drop off socks. They're collecting.
Make them new socks, JJ. Don't go
Not-
empty your drawer, your nasty socks.
Yeah,
I
But
throw
new
socks
socks
away.
and canned goods down there at Schicker Automotive. Schicker Ford of St. Louis.
Yes.
And then, well, this weekend's the test drive weekend, but this show will come out after that's done. But Schicker Ford of St. Louis, down on South Kings.
Hey, are we going to get the trivia night we got going Saturday? Are we going to get some cigars for it?
He just talked over Mama Howard the entire time.
I'm calling
and he
Mama
was so
Howard.
oblivious.
I didn't
you
hear
were
it.
playing it, and
Well,
he
actually, my headphones keep going in and out. I swear to God.
JJ, there's a thing on your. See that thing right there? That's your
volume
control right there.
Well, no, I'm talking about all of a sudden it'll go dead. I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry. I got
because
you.
you look like some senile person right there. You were just playing.
I am
thing.
so sorry. Oh.
You just found it, Tommy. No, he
I've
goes,
never messed with this before, but no. I'm just telling you right now. This all of a sudden my ear, this right ear will go out.
And he goes, whoa.
He just found the volume control.
No,
control.
it has nothing to do with this volume control. My thing is.
I call bullshit. Has
I
everything to
swear.
do with that.
No. I'm telling you. All of a sudden my right ear would go out, and it's I don't know. But anyway,
Understandable.
let's move on.
We have antiquated equipment here.
Let's go again.
You're-
I'm sorry. It's really. I'm
no,
really.
you're fine. We're just talking about Schicker Ford of St. Louis.
I was trying to be clever and like adding, cigar shit in, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is like going to court with Sawyer.
We're dismissing you with prejudice or without prejudice, whatever that.
Mystery.
I can't hear you
Instead of a
guys.
mistrial, it's a mystery.
I can't hear you guys right now. I'm joking.
Turn your turn your
No,
volume up.
I'm good. I'm good.
Number one selling candy for Halloween, Tommy.
What is it?
The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
That makes sense. I can buy that.
But you're missing one
What's that?
that's extinct now.
Oh, bottle caps.
Bottle caps.
That's what. That was my. I liked bottle caps back in the day.
They're
Hated-
extinct. Can't
hated
get them
them.
anywhere.
Can't get them.
I understand why.
You
Why?
didn't like them?
I hated them. They were stupid. I don't like that kind of candy.
You don't like sweet tarts?
Mm.
I kind of agree.
You know what I want to give a shout out to?
No,
Butterfingers,
they suck too.
Baby Ruth, and Musketeers. You know
All
why?
suck.
Are you serious?
I'm with you on the Musketeer. I don't know about the other two.
Oh, that's one of my favorite.
But you know what they did?
No.
They got out of the mini size game. Not in it anymore.
No more fun size.
God bless them. They're taking a stance. Fuck the mini sizes.
Yeah, the mini sizes.
The mini sizes have ruined all kinds of. They've ruined lives. I mean, you. I mean, there's a before candy, when you gave out candy in masses, that was Halloween, so it was one day. Well, now they come out with this mini candy, and it's year round. You walk in offices, they got mini candy laying in. It's like a buffet in a bowl.
Yeah.
And then you just pick shit out, and then you just keep on going. That ruined it.
Why is that
Before,
ru-
when you had a hankering, you went and got a bar. and it
I
was
go to
done.
my major's office. Maurice's always got a candy jar there.
See?
with
Yeah.
the mini.
With minis.
Trying to kill you.
No, I love that. I go in there, I steal
And
the
eat the
Twix,
shit out of it, don't
Well,
Yeah,
Twix,
when we were
Kit
all
Kat.
young and we were trick or treating, first of all, we had
They suck.
pillowcases.
They suck for
We
Halloween.
had
for sure.
pillowcases.
Bring back
Right?
the pillowcase.
Oh yeah, pillowcases. For
Bring
sure.
back the
Pillowcases,
pillowcase.
and you'd fill that thing up with full size bars.
And hustle.
Yeah.
Remember the hustle?
You'd get through.
I mean, you'd go to houses. You'd
No,
try to
yeah.
cover the whole neighborhoods and jump to another neighborhood.
fast as you
hustling.
could. Full size bars, but you always had to tell a trick or treat. You always had to tell a joke or do something. Nowadays, these kids just
Show up.
woke up, open up their bag, take their mini whatever, and thank you and goodbye. No trick or treat.
I told my nephew.
I'm still going to cut the bars in half.
I got a great trick or treat joke that I've given to my nephew, and
Let's hear it, JJ.
I told he's young. It's my Andrea's son Nolan, and I told him a joke last year. I think. What do you see when the snowman bends over? What? Snowballs.
And
That's
there we
good.
go. That's
That's not my set.
and that's JJ's nephew for you. Hey, who's that related to? That's JJ's nephew. Oh, okay. Makes sense now.
John, never heard that.
No, that was tremendous.
Can I do a Zen now?
No, that's pretty good, JJ.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Do you know where and how Halloween was originated and brought to this country?
I don't.
JJ?
I have no idea.
John? I'm just going to tell you.
It's not American.
No. So in 1845, there was something called the potato famine going on in Ireland.
Heard of
Right.
it.
And 1.5 million Irish people came to America. And with them, they brought the tradition of Halloween. And that's how it came to this country. And it quickly spread through America, and that's how Halloween. It's an Irish thing.
I like it.
And they didn't used to carve pumpkins like you have on your bar here. They carved the other gourd.
Potatoes.
There was a famine. There was no potatoes, John. That's where they came.
Oh.
With the big
Turnips.
Hey, I
They
got a
carved
potato.
turnips.
Hey, I finally got a potato. Carve that motherfucker up.
Yeah, carve it for Halloween.
How about we eat it?
Make it into a goofy fucking face.
No, they used to carve turnips, not pumpkins.
Okay.
But the Irish brought
Sure, it's
Halloween.
turnips and not like gourds or something.
Well, I think turnips are gourd, but
Oh.
you know what a pumpkin is?
A pumpkin.
Is it a fruit or a vegetable?
Vegetable.
It's an orange round.
Is it a fruit or a vegetable?
Vegetable.
It's a fruit.
50,
It's a fruit.
50-50, and I screwed it up.
So, I mean, I have Halloween knowledge, and all our listeners are a lot smarter now. The
I'm with
potato
you.
famine. That's in 1845. That's when Halloween was started. And Halloween, Americans spend $9 billion a year on costumes and candy for Halloween. It's second
Scam.
only to Christmas.
Dude, you,
Scam.
you know how
It
expensive
is a scam, like
It's a
Valentine's.
scam. It is
Valentine's
make-
Day is the biggest scam.
They just make shit up to just make people spend a bunch of money.
You know how expensive candy is now, though? I went and bought candy today.
Oh.
Maybe because it was late in the game.
No,
No, candy doesn't.
it's expensive.
No, I bought Halloween candy today.
Gouging. That's
Yeah.
price gouging if they
Yeah.
gouge it around fucking Halloween.
Guess,
dude.
guess how much I spent on Halloween candy today?
I don't know.
And maybe I'm low on most people. $80.
Good God. How many
$80.
kids you get through?
I don't know. But
We usually get over 100.
do you really?
Yeah.
No, I'll have candy tomorrow, I'm guessing. I'm hoping.
Mini candy.
Now, how about the people with the fires? JJ, you're a fire guy. I think that
I'm a fire guy.
First of all, I think that our generation, Generation X, right?
Yeah.
So we brought Halloween to another level with all the stuff that's going on with Halloween. Back in the day, they didn't show up to work dressed up in fucking costumes. And
I still
nowadays,
I never
it's
did.
dress up all the time.
Yeah.
And then what I'm saying, getting to is that the fires, that slows these kids down. Now their parents sit around and talk around a fire, and you're forced into
Oh, yeah.
you're
You don't
forced-
get as much candy.
Yeah, you're forced into
Yeah,
conversation.
we didn't do that. We were bolting.
Oh no, we hustled.
Pillowcase
There'd be
full.
no fire. We don't
Yeah.
don't give no fire. We're gonna run from door to door. Now these poor kids got to listen to their parents talk to the neighbors.
Yeah. You know what else I'm throwing the red flag on? Trunk or treats 2 weeks before Halloween.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to get back to the fire thing. When we were growing up and doing trick or treating, I never once went with a parent. I don't ever remember
when I was
going.
really
Well,
little. I
like
did.
at 4, you would.
Yeah.
No,
Come on, dude.
No, I had older brothers.
I'm with you there. I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
too.
But I don't even remember doing that. I remember like at 6 and 7, we ran the neighborhood. We just went.
Yeah.
No
we
one
did
cared.
Too. We did too.
But anyway,
We did too.
but yeah, the fires are good. And you know what? When they come to my house, they stock up, dude. They get
Right.
tons
You
of
have
shit.
to have enough. If you're going to slow them down, you got to load them up.
you
Right.
have to load them up. Now, when your older brothers were escorting you around, were they smoking a fine cigar?
Yeah, they were.
They
Matter of
were?
fact, yeah.
At 12,
At
you know where
12?
they got them?
No, they
Where?
were.
Riverman Cigar Company, 8984 Watson Road.
Great
went,
sponsor.
went in and saw the Ponder Boys and get themselves anything from a $3 cigar. If you're feeling good, a Halloween cigar, you might want to go $150, $250. Get one of them good ones, ones from Cuba or something, just for Halloween. Because you know
Nice.
you're going to sit and talk to somebody at a
The
fire.
Riverman Cigar Company. Love it.
Yep.
Love
yep,
it.
Yep. That's where you go get your cigars.
These kids these days, they walk around with so much candy, they need security.
They do.
Where would they go?
I think there's a guy named Corby Campbell.
Yep.
CampbellSecurityGroup.com.
Absolutely.
Another,
'em up.
another proud
Get a hold of 'em.
sponsor of the Brighter Side of Blue Worldwide Podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. Get all our sponsors in there.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that, and you guys have heard over the last several weeks, is that we are teaming with the Guns and Hoses. And last night we went to it's called the Box Office, right, John?
Yep.
And me, JJ, and Johnny went out there. Danny had a date with his wife, so he couldn't make it.
Oh, that's nice.
And but it was really neat to watch these guys and you're going to see some interviews here in a little bit and some of the footage from that. But to see the anxiety that was going on with those guys, JJ, did you notice that?
I did. And actually, Steve Holly called me this morning. and asked how if you were taken care of and everything. And he said, I said, that is really amazing what you guys do. And he said, his words were, it's controlled chaos. But I don't know how they do the box. I don't know how they match them up. They do 1 minute rounds, and then they're done. And if they like what they see, they'll add another round to it or whatever.
Or they'll have them fight another guy.
Right. And so but they usually 1 minute rounds and you're done. But just to be able to match them up, and these guys are all professional. I mean, they all know boxing inside and out, and they've been doing it for so long, they can tell, and they do a great job matching them all up. I think it's controlled chaos, but it's amazing how good of a job they do.
And but to see how nervous some of these, because they've been training for 2 months, and this is it. I mean, if they don't do well in the box office, they're not getting a box. They train for nothing, and
Did you hear Steve's speech before they all started?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting. He said, if you think you're going to like slack into it and like just kind of hold back a little bit, so because you can maybe get a better fight, a person that's not as good as you, whatever. But he goes, if you don't go full bore and go all out, we'll know, and then you won't get it. But if you don't do it that way, if you try to hold back, kind of save something so you can get a fight that's advantageous to you, he says you won't get a fight. So that was cool.
It was intense. It really was.
Oh, when these guys got in the ring, it was on.
Yeah,
there was no dancing. There was no going from side to side. And
it's a slugfest.
The adrenaline and nerves that I experienced when I walked out to my fight in 2000 in front of 12,000 people. The place was packed, and knowing that there's a distinct possibility I get in a ring and get my ass embarrassed and wore out in front of 12,000 people, I couldn't explain the anxiety I had. And so I was like, oh, my God, thank God I
one of the guys you'll hear, and I interviewed, was Ryan Counterman. And Ryan Counterman is he's done 11 fights, so he's fought and bought guns and hoses more than anybody else. Well, what was interesting is that before when he came on, he worked in the drug unit in the MEG unit out in North County. And I worked with him, and after we're done interviewing, he goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Tom Sawyer." And he goes, "Dude, we used to work together." I was like, "I knew I recognized you." I did recognize him, but I didn't want to say, and I didn't know from where.
But that
was right at the end.
He is the record for most fights.
11
in a row. That's
and
amazing.
Colonel Lashak fought in how many? I want to say
five. Is it that many?
I
think he did have the record until then.
Oh, wow.
But Ryan turned pro and trains fighters now.
Yep.
It is a professional event. Guns and Hoses is unbelievable. We'll be there. We'll be there strong.
So we're going to do our podcast for a little bit, and then we're going to get out into the crowd with Wesley.
Yep.
And we're going to ask some questions, get some crowd involvement, and I'm sure we'll bring some interesting people to you. Hopefully, some of the more famous people. Do you see some of the people that are going to be there? They got Leon Spinks coming.
Wow.
I'd love to talk to Leon Spinks.
Yeah.
You remember? I was just a kid when he beat Muhammad
I
Ali.
couldn't believe he beat Muhammad Ali.
That was awesome.
St. Louis boy.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
I can remember rooting for him just because he was from St. Louis. And I
heck
was
yeah.
too young. I didn't know nothing about boxing. I knew enough that he was from St. Louis, and I can remember jumping up and down when he won.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
If we get to talk to him, that would be
Guns
very
and
cool.
Hoses, they give their money to Backstoppers.
Absolutely.
They're separate entities, but Guns and Hoses,
And that's their main. That's their
$1 million
main goal.
a year to give to Backstoppers.
That's their main goal, and it's
And what a fun night.
Oh, jeez. I'm looking forward to it.
You said 12. So you were at the beginning. That thing sold out. Now, when did that become just like a mega event?
I just remember there was like 12,100
'Cause
people.
at
They
the
were going
beginning,
crazy.
Was it that way at the beginning where it was?
It was at Kiel Auditorium. I think it was called the Metro Boxing Showdown.
Yes.
And it was city versus county back then instead of police versus fire. And it was crowded, but it wasn't like it is now. And it was
like
mainly
an event.
just hardcore, boxing.
And it was
fans.
mostly
Boxing fans, yeah.
like law enforcement and their people.
Right.
Now there's young kids down there. They're just going down there for the event.
I can honestly say I have never, since I got on as a policeman, I've never missed one.
Really?
No, that's saying something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
commendable, dude.
Yeah, JJ.
I took off about
I love it.
15
dude.
years with the kids and whatnot and grandkids. And then, too, those Thanksgivings got rough, bro.
Oh,
I ain't
yeah.
gonna lie.
There's
Those
no doubt about it.
Thanksgivings got rough.
I try to, I've matured since then, and now I try to pace myself and so that I don't have to be
That's
so hungover.
that's
You know,
What a holiday to have your event attached to. Thanksgiving is
Thanksgiving.
by far the best holiday of the year. Do you
Well, it's
agree?
cool because
Or
everybody
not
comes
agree?
in from.
I don't agree,
it's
but
my
I know
fa-
you're a
no,
big
no.
one.
It's my favorite holiday. For
Football,
sure.
food, and family. I
No
get
doubt.
you.
And thanks.
You know,
And thanks.
Thanks.
And
And
thanks.
about all the it makes you focus on the shit that's going right in life.
Yeah, I like that.
With your family, and then it's not a whole lot of high pressure to it.
Yeah, and no gifts. And you don't like gifts
I don't
and
like
cards.
the whole. Yeah, I mean,
high fives.
not big with birthdays. So Christmas is not.
We used to.
but-
I organized a touch football game with the family. Everybody. We did that
every
last
year you do it.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't anymore. We did. That lasted about 3 years, and then that was about it. But
Yeah.
No,
What's your
I-
favorite holiday, Daniel?
I'm gonna say Christmas.
I can see that. I
because
mean,
my
that's not-
family, 45 of us, all get together at my mom and dad's. Now it's just my mom's house, and we fit into a small house. And it's just very spirited. It's very awesome.
Can you guys get together on Thanksgiving, or is it too big? Or
It's
many
too
shit?
big. Way too
Everybody
big.
has to have their own
Everybody has to have
individual.
their own.
that part is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Just way too
Can't
many
do-
people
can't
now.
do
It's
it.
so big.
Right.
We go to multiple
We can still
places.
do Thanksgiving individually, or just by ourselves. Where you
Yeah.
guys are too big of a
Too big.
family.
There's 45
and
of
with
us.
nieces and nephews, you can't all come to the same house. So I understand that.
Can't
yeah.
do it. You can't do it.
Johnny, what do you got for your favorite holiday? I think you. I got to think you're gonna come up with something crazy.
St. Patrick's Day.
There you go.
I got
And there you go.
I just got some breaking news.
What do you got?
We just got Venmo'd from our one of our most loyal listeners, Mary Michelle.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Mary Michelle. So anyway,
I like it.
it happened in the middle.
Danny's got a timeout. That's all right.
All right, thank you. That was a close one, fellas. I had to.
That
I had
excuse
to hit
himself.
the-
I'm out.
I had to take a little break.
I could
there.
see you panicking over there,
Yeah, I
too.
was
You were
starting
writing
to
shit down.
Oh yeah.
You're writing shit down to JJ?
Yeah, I have to pee. And that's what's on here. I have to pee. And it was serious, and it's
All
good,
right,
and I
all
feel
right.
better. Hey,
back in the
Producer
flow.
John, are you sitting on a newsroom.com over there tonight?
I am. You know,
Bring it.
I'm going. Again, I'm not doing anything Halloween related because this will play after Halloween.
After Halloween. I got you.
But it's playing the day before the election.
Uh-oh.
So
All right.
I'm going political, but I'm going back as usual. I'm going back 100 years. But
When shit was good.
you guys ever heard of the man in the green hat?
No. The man in the green hat.
St. Patrick's Day?
This is back between 1920 and 1930. George Cassidy was a man in the green hat. He was.
Oh, yeah.
He was Congress's primary bootlegger during Prohibition.
He's the guy, huh?
So he got back from World War One, and a friend asked him to drop off a couple bottles down at the old Capitol Hill or down at the.
So he was a congressman, too.
No, he was
he was
just
their
a guy.
supplier.
He was
Yeah.
a bootlegger.
He was their supplier. Okay.
An Irish bootlegger.
So he did this, as a favor for a friend to drop it off at the House or the Senate, and within a short period of time, he was making an average of 25 deliveries a day to Congress of bootleg whiskey, gin, whatever during Prohibition. So,
So Congress is kicking it.
I think-
Everybody else can't drink,
Oh,
but
yeah,
Congress
yeah.
is having a party.
so he
That shocks me.
Right, exactly. This is a shocker.
Yeah, it's just kind of a life lesson. But he was a very dapper guy, well dressed, and he always wore this emerald colored hat. And he had this big, huge, like leather briefcase that he carried all the bottles in. And apparently he worked around the clock, and the Capitol Police were kind of in on it, and he had free access to Capitol Hill, so the House and the Senate. So.
Like a weed dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, going on.
Yeah, so he had 5 years of smooth sailing, but there was one Capitol Police officer who he thought was cool. It was in on it, and he wasn't, and he locked Cassidy up
Ooh.
with 6 bottles of whiskey, I think. So anyway, he got kicked out of the Cannon Building up on Capitol Hill, so he just moved over to the Russell Building and continued on for another 5 years. And so-
Hoping that the policeman didn't get transferred to the other building, too.
Right, exactly. So, and he had a little black book of all his transactions that no one ever his wife at
So
some
he
point
could bring
destroyed
down
it.
Congress.
Yeah, and he would never say who he served, but he said he did concede it was most of Congress. So anyway, but by 1929, I guess enough people were getting tired of it. So the police raided his house and seized 266 quarts of premium liquor. So subsequently, the Vice President of the United States, Charles Curtis, authorized a sting operation against him. So they brought in there used to be called a Prohibition Bureau, and one of their agents, a guy named Roger Butts, and he apparently they claimed that he entrapped them into. They got some senators or somebody who said they were senators to say, "Hey, bring me some bottles." It was all a sting, and they nabbed him and locked him up with 6 bottles of gin.
One senator?
Yeah, well, they had a couple senators. They had because they met him on the parking lot, and they had the senators call, and then like I said, it was a trap, and so they got him, and they also seized his book with the little black book with the client list in it.
Uh-huh. Is that the Epstein list?
So now apparently all the senators were panicking because they were trying to get hold of the book.
Yes.
And it was never turned over. The names were never leaked out. But
Boy, that sounds familiar. Doesn't
Yeah, it
it?
does.
That
This is
sounds
100 years
familiar.
ago.
yeah, it
Nothing's
started.
changed.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it probably goes back to day
He's a
one.
precursor to Epstein and Diddy. And
Yeah.
So so the man in the green hat was eventually sentenced to 18 months in prison, but he never spent a night in prison, as he was allowed to sign out every night and sign back in the next morning. So he got to go home at night.
But during the day, he has to go to sit in prison.
He had to sit in prison, I guess, so he wouldn't bring any more bottles.
He's lucky he's alive.
That's crazy.
So, he did his 18 months of spending the day in prison, and then he went to work at a shoe factory and some hotels, and he lived in 1967.
I was 2.
Yeah, so he was age of 74. But the little black book was destroyed, and it never leaked out who was in it. But apparently most everybody.
He got away with it for 10 years.
This shit's been going on forever.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, so you can see some parallels to what's going on these days, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's goodnewsroom.com.
Yeah.
History
Very
repeats
Very
itself.
well. History does repeat itself.
JJ, do you have a Halloweenish, Zenish?
No, it's not only Halloweenish, but it is appropriate for the election.
All right.
And
We're
who is
election strong
who is
today.
JJ Zen brought to us by?
I think it was Mark Twain.
I meant
boy.
like a sponsor.
That's my boy.
Mark Twain sponsoring us.
He is.
Mark Twain.
Welcome
sponsor.
aboard, Mark.
Welcome. Good to have you.
You done?
I'm sorry.
Patriotism is supporting your country all the time, and your government when it deserves it.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Boom.
Boom.
Beautiful.
I love it.
You can repeat it if you want.
Patriotism is supporting your government all the time, and your government.
He messed it up.
He
He
deserves
couldn't
it.
pull it
No.
off. Yes. That's
No,
why
you cut me off.
that's
I was
why we
going
do
to it.
That's why we do it, folks.
He sucks. It wasn't. I had it. You just interrupted me.
No, we didn't. You said government twice.
Did I? Yeah, motherfucker.
And the government when it deserves it.
Patriotism is supporting your country all the time. Yeah, fuck you guys. But your government when it
He's
deserves
going to become a speechwriter in D.C.
Oh,
Oh,
It's been a long night, and you waited till the very end of this.
yeah, that was
the
good.
first time nailed it though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You did nail
Hey,
it.
cut out the rest of the bullshit.
There's a
The reason why I want to do it just once.
There's a TikTok craze going around where they do the suspects and they'll have somebody running and you know the person. It's a lot of times it's husband and wives or it's two friends, and they'll have the phone next to them and they'll say the suspect, and then they'll say something about the suspect that's demean. They'll cut them up. Like if it were me and you, and I'd have you, and I'd say the suspect has a very long neck. Or if it was JJ, I'd say the suspect has a tough time repeating sentences.
I don't know what I did to deserve that.
Well, I'm
Hey,
just
I
saying,
think you
but
deserve the
if
shit
it's
out of
just-
it.
Or if it was somebody like me, you would say the suspect smokes a lot of weed. You know?
Oh my God!
But that it kind of reminded me of us when we kind of make fun of each other a lot.
What do we have coming up next week?
Next week we've got the we're going to do some canine stuff with
Okay.
the dogs.
Yep.
And it's going to be pretty good. I think people will like it. You know, everybody loves a good dog, right? Dogs
Oh,
are the best.
you just
dogs
get
are.
chipped.
Are we
Get
having the
chipped.
handlers on too?
We may.
Just the dogs.
Just yeah, we're just having the dogs on. No, we've got a good show coming up. It's just, yeah, I think Vin Yee is bringing in his dog, possibly.
All right.
But we're going to have Vin Yee on next week for sure.
Live or is he calling in?
We don't know
Wait,
yet.
wait.
We're going to try to get him in studio.
What the hell does Vin Yee have to do with a dog?
He likes dogs too.
Everybody.
Is he-
He's already looking for Maxwell the cat.
Is he a support dog?
He might one day.
All right. We've killed that. Tommy, what about our communities?
They are safer places to live when you support the police and the law enforcement in the area. Support law enforcement. Places that support law enforcement are safer places to live. Communities that support law enforcement are. I'm going into JJ's.
Hey, Tom, thank you so much for that.
JJ's.
Hey, we're out from JJ's
We've
bar.
been here for a
JJ's
minute.
basement
You guys
bar.
know to play.
Make sure you vote.
Peace.
Go vote. Peace.
Vote.
Out. Late. So Jerry, tell us what is the box office here? What does this? How does this work? And why is it done?
So the only way this show works is if we have competitive fights, fight night. And we want to be fair to the fighters. So we're going to have everybody come over here and weigh. We already had a list from the coaches of prospective fighters. I've already got probably 20 matchups for tonight, but we've still got to see if in fact their weights is what they proposed it to be, because we have somebody checking the scale. And what we look for in matchups is within 5 years of age, if they have any experience. Like the first year I fought, there's a couple of guys that had 20, 30 fights in the military.
Right.
So, we don't want to get anybody hurt, but we want it competitive. Try to keep the sparring tonight somewhere within 10 pounds of each other. And again, age within 5 years, experience. So I pretty much, and Tim Burke, and Steve Holly, Jesse Finney, we're going to be making these fights. We're going to make these fights tonight. And we kind of know, you start to get a feel for this after how many years we've been doing it,
Right.
what's going to look like a good fight. Last year could have been as good a show we ever had. It was so competitive.
But this year you've had more fighters that come out than
We
than
had
usual.
more interest, so we'll see how it goes tonight.
Right.
But this is it. We'll have this show made
Now, will
by
some of the
8
fights
o'clock
that
tonight.
will some of the fights that you guys arranged for the box off, will those actually be fights in the? Could they
Could be.
Right.
See two guys getting after it pretty good. They might just end up seeing each other fight night.
But this is just, and you guys, and you and Steve Holly, and it's a lot of the guys that have been involved in this for years, and really, like you said, you guys kind of know what.
Right. Me and Tim have done this forever, but now we have Rhonda Shanica, who fought for the county. She's really good at helping us get everything right to where it is. When we get going here, you're going to see fight after fight after fight. 1 round, 1 minute. Unless it looks so good, we might let it go another 30 seconds or do a second round. Might do a little bit of a round robin with the big guys tonight. Again, we're going to wait to see who all shows. So that's pretty much where we stand. This is, wait till it gets a little bit closer. And the energy is just a subpar less than fight night. And I'll tell you what, we've had some barn burgers over the years in this
Oh, I'm
ring right
sure.
here. Yeah.
'Cause this is-
There's another caveat though. If a guy gets stumbled, certainly if he gets knocked down, but if he gets stumbled, good chance he won't get a fight.
Right.
Not going to get anybody hurt. So we got, what do we got? 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks till fight night. So
Tis the season, brother.
yeah, this is it.
It's fun
and
for you.
There's
This is
an
your
old,
favorite time of the year, isn't it?
Oh heck yeah! There's an old saying that Steve Holly, Jack Martirelli, God rest his soul, and I always had. That first bell starts the holidays.
Yep.
Fight night, first
Yep.
bell.
It is
the
the
holidays
season.
start.
So this is going to be fun. And
Yeah, I'm glad
like
you
I said,
guys
we're
are
going
here.
to follow a lot of you guys along the way. Do
Yeah,
some
I
more
heard
stuff.
that.
And,
Yeah. I
and,
hope you get a chance to talk to someone. Now, keep in mind, everybody's got to keep this in mind that's watching this. These are police officers, firefighters, both genders, that may be parents, may have who knows what other kind of responsibilities, not to mention they're working full-time. Probably a lot of them work secondary to supplement, and they're making time to spar so they don't get embarrassed. So,
And put a good show on to start the
oh,
holiday.
absolutely. I mean, we know what the end run is all of this. We're raising money for families, policemen, firefighters killed in the line of duty. So as much fun as all this is, it's a sacred duty, and we all take it serious.
That's
Steve
awesome.
Holly's the mastermind. Jesse Finney's spending more and more time with us. Timmy Burke's been doing it forever. Mike Stocker's over there, fought the Titanic match
I
against
talked to him
Joe
earlier.
Brower.
He fought the first 2 years, 87
Yes,
and
he
88.
did. And in '88 against Brower, the blood was going all over the people in the front row. That was a knockdown
Him and Joe
drag
Brower?
out. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So we love Joe, we love Mike, and he's a coach now. So you're seeing people come in. A lot of these coaches were great amateur fighters themselves. May or may not be law enforcement, but they volunteer their time to help get guys in shape. So go ahead.
You good? We are here with Ryan Connerman. And Ryan, where are you a policeman at? Or where, are you still a police officer?
I am. I'm a lieutenant in Hazelwood.
Lieutenant in Hazelwood. Greg Hall, right?
He was my
He
former
was the
chief.
chief.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
You used to play softball with him.
Yeah. He was
So
the former chief.
Ryan holds the record for the most fights in Guns and Hoses. And how many fights is that, Ryan?
11.
11?
I am not 11-0.
What is your record?
Man, now you guys are putting me on the spot.
You just say 10-1.
No, it's not that. I think it's actually upside down. I think it's 5 and 6. I think actually.
But still.
I'd have to count the rings and the trophies and everything
But
else.
11 years of training?
Yeah, this is actually the first year I have not fought.
Really?
Yep.
So the 11 have been very
All in a
recent.
row. Yep.
Did you ever fight Jerry?
I did not fight Jerry. I actually fought Josh Sampo, who was in the UFC on our show.
Okay.
I fought everybody.
It's probably tough to remember all 11. Right?
Well, actually, I train with some of them now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm good friends with them.
Now, do you help train?
I
Still?
do. I own a gym out in O'Fallon, and we let
What's
our
your gym? What's your gym's name?
Hit Squad.
Hit Squad?
Hit Squad in St. Charles, MMA
Now,
West.
some of the fighters actually go out there and train?
Correct. That's why I'm here today.
Okay. And then some of your fighters are off in the box office?
They are. I'm hoping they do well today.
That's going to be great. But Ryan, 11 times, that's unbelievable. Now, do you have a most memorable one? A most memorable event?
They're all
because of
They are.
I agree with
mean,
that. But sometimes there's somebody that may have passed away that year that meant a little bit more to you. But they all mean a lot, don't they?
They all mean a lot, man.
Yeah.
Every year Steve Holly and Jerry have let me fight in this thing. This is not
I don't
easy
think
to
they let
get
you.
in.
I think you earn it.
I
think it's
did.
more of
I
an
did my
earning.
best.
Right.
Your most fun year, though?
Not
You
fighting?
know what? I don't know. It's gonna be different. I don't know how I'm gonna take it.
Are you going to the fights?
Yeah, I'm cornering.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I actually have a pro guy fighting. Dusty Edwards is forcing.
In the
Or Dusty.
MMA?
No, he's doing pro boxing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dusty.
They have a couple pro bouts too?
Yes.
Yeah.
didn't
so
know that.
my last 5 were pro bouts.
Okay.
So I just retired last Saturday. My last fight was last
So now
Saturday.
you're back to an amateur? You went
No,
from pro?
no, I can't.
You can't go back?
Can't go back.
Now, being a pro, how many pro fights do you have?
I have 10.
Okay.
I'm 6 and 4.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You're a better pro than you are an amateur.
Absolutely.
Look at that. All right. I like it.
So,
Thanks a lot, Ryan, and thank you for your service
Absolutely.
and the 11 years of entertaining the folks before Thanksgiving.
well, hopefully they let me train for 11
Now,
more.
let's go to Thanksgiving. Did you spend some Thanksgivings
oh
very
my
sore?
God, yes.
Now, did your family are like, okay, Ryan's coming over. He's going to look like he's probably going to.
So actually, my father-in-law was a policeman for 40 years.
Okay.
And so my wife understands all this. She's very understanding.
So it was one of the things that we talked about on Thanksgiving, right? Something to talk about.
Absolutely.
How messed up is Ryan going to show up?
Yeah. It's, or Christmas, they just, I saw you on TV, that kind of stuff.
That's great. All right, thanks, Ryan.
Hey,
We got Mike Mueller here. He's probably been, how long have you been doing this? Since the day you got out of the academy?
since out of the academy, yeah.
We won't say how many years that is. It's a lot of years. But,
Couple.
And how many fights have you had?
3.
And when was your last one?
Last one was 96.
And when is now what's your part?
I just help train all the fighters and do anything that they need, mostly sparring.
Well, Mike is also a major in the police department, which is a huge responsibility. Takes a lot of his time, and for him to be able to be a major and run a major division of our police department and have to take the time to do this is pretty amazing. When do you have time to go out and have fun?
It's all about giving back.
Right. One more kind of couple. Anything else you want to add before we start? Because we're going to get started. But I want to ask you, Danny Howard, what do you think about his pickleball play?
He's a good pickleball player. He's designed for pickleball. He's embraced.
The camera.